There's one word and one word only that rules all the other words in the dictionary. It is the single most expensive word in the entire dictionary. What do you guys think it is? It's only 4 letters long, starts with an F. It is called fear. Now, fear and fearful thoughts have caused me to make decisions in my business today that over 10 years as an entrepreneur, along my entrepreneurship journey, that has legitimately cost me millions of dollars, unfortunately. Not just 1 or 2 million. I'm talking about millions. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars from all the businesses I've run, all the mistakes I've made because I made bad decisions off of things that occupied my mind, of future negative events with fear that I wish would not happen to me. I'm going to teach you a lot about fear in this short video, guys. This is going to really help you. And so what we're going to go over here real quick is the awareness and understanding of what fear is, because you cannot beat and conquer anything unless you understand it and define it. Second thing we're going to do is I'm going to tell you a story, a couple of them. I'm going to give you some examples so you can actually think about this and process this information, understand what you have to do. I'm going to tell you something that only the highest level entrepreneurs in the world understand, that only high performance elite level individuals ever even talk about. And then the last thing is, at the very end, I'm going to tell you exactly what kills, conquers, and destroys fear so you can go forward and not lose millions, but make them and have the same process and the same transition like I did as I went through this. Now, here's what we're going to talk about first. Let's have the awareness of what it is. What is fear? It is not real. What you need to understand is fear will cost you money and ruin relationships and hurt your business if you believe it is. So fear is held in the mind today in the present of things that we do not want to have happen to us in the future. Those monsters and dragons that could come and hurt us, right? We're trying to protect ourselves. What if a deal falls apart? What if the pandemic crushes our business? What if this recession crushes our business? What if our wife not responding to us because it's Friday night is out with another man? What if I go ask this girl out? She says no. What if the doctor says they found something, they need to do more tests? What do you think happens in the mind? The mind races. Thoughts occupy the conscious mind, which causes your emotional body to react, and you feel what's called anxiety. So whenever you're emotionally involved in something negative, on the negative side of the spectrum, your body's vibrating through what's called anxiety. And it's felt through not a good feeling, right? Now, when you're feeling stressed out and anxious, and you're having attitude adjustment that's negative, what does this cause? Not a positive mental attitude, but a negative mental attitude. And when we have a negative attitude, what does this mean? We're short-tempered. We cause problems with our friends and family partners, and we make bad decisions. We're not in our creative mindset. So the more we're in a negative mindset, our attitude's poor, and a poor attitude creates a poor life around us. So this is why it's so important to understand, if we're fearing things that are not real, it can cause us to have a bad attitude that will actually make our life worse. Now, here's the thing, guys. I want you to understand this. Here's the saddest, most disgusting part of it all. All these things, these big things throughout my career over 10 years as an entrepreneur that I made bad decisions upon, that cost me millions of dollars, that I thought could happen to me, actually never happened. None of them. Like, not one of them. Every single thing I feared that was going to crush me, destroy my business, the deal was going to fall out, the girl's going to leave me, whatever it was, they actually never happened. How disgusting is that? I've literally lost millions of dollars because of fearful thoughts that were not real. So you need to understand, the things you're thinking right now that are causing you stress, anxiety, probably are not going to happen to you. But if you occupy your mind in them, you're wasting time. It's time management. If you're spending time on things that are not going to happen and not time on things that could happen in a positive way, meaning call another agent, do another prospecting call, meet another client, right? It's time wastage. You need to stay on the positive minds, on the positive side of the spectrum, and you need to stay doing things positive in the positive mindset so that people want to be around you. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now, what helped me fix this in my life and understanding this? I came across what's called the law of polarity. Write this down, guys. Law of polarity. It's actually even hard to find. You all have to pretty much find the highest level people in the world to even learn this from, because what the law of polarity states is this: there has to be one if there's the other. There has to be an up and down, a left and a right, positive, negative, inside, outside, day and night, right? There has to be one and the other. It's the law of polar opposites. So what that means is, if there's one, there has to be the other. If there's a positive something in your life, there has to be a negative in it. If there's a negative thing happening in your life, there has to be a positive thing happening at the exact same time in the exact same situation. And let me explain this to the polarity with fear. Think about fear real quick. What do you think is on the other side? If fear is the negative, what is over here on the positive? What do we need to focus on over here to get past here? And how do they relate to each other? What's in the middle between fear and this over here? I'll give you a little clue here. It starts with F2. It's one extra letter long, I think. So this one's fear. This one's faith. Now, we're not talking about religious faith. We are talking about the faith that a future outcome will play out the way we want it to in the positive direction if the actions we take in the present today are done by taking a risk of spending money, time, energy, or motion. So if I'm going to spend money on marketing, or if I'm going to go ask a girl out, I'm not going to do it unless I have the faith, which is high enough in my mind, that the outcome is going to be positive. So what that means is fear is on this side, faith is on this side. In the middle of the two in this polarity, there's what's called risk. And risk is the association between fear and faith as the law of polarity. Because if you can't take a risk in business and you can't take a risk in life, you will never make it to the high goals and dreams that you've always had, because risk is what creates opportunities that lead us to that future life that is big and bigger than we ever thought we could have without taking a risk, if that makes sense. We have to take risk in business, relationships, and opportunities to have something big given to us in life. People that do not take risk float through life. I hope you understand this, right? Now, here's a couple examples on really how to understand it. Let's say I'm going to spend money on a marketing campaign, or let's say I'm going to spend time into creating a YouTube channel. I can spend all this time creating a video, learning the platform, have all the best equipment, I have a great video, and then I go to post it, but it doesn't actually post because I never hit the button, because I'm procrastinating. Paralysis analysis, right? Procrastination kicks in. Why? Because the risk-taking nature can't be taken because of fear being too high. My fear in my mind is if I post this video, it's not going to get any views. I'm going to embarrass myself. Everybody around me is going to see that my video doesn't take off. And so fearful thoughts occupy the mind, which says the risk is too high for the embarrassment, and you sit down. Now, what if you had faith high enough that who cares if I'm embarrassed? I have to put this out. I care about my family. I care about my future. If I put this out, it could actually benefit me. It could take off and generate leads that make me money that can feed my family. And I believe it's going to work because I've seen others do it before. So the faith is high enough now that you post the video. What about a girl in the room that you've been looking at for years? She goes to your high school. You really want to ask her out. But if you believe that the outcome is going to be negative, she's going to say no, then fear is too high. The risk will not be taken or be pushed past, and you're not going to take action, right? You're going to just think about it going forward. If you truly believe that if you go ask this individual out, that they're going to say yes, you think you'll take the action now, right? The risk is not there because you believe they're going to say yes. So the faith is there that they're going to say yes. So therefore the action's taken. Whether they say yes or no doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about here. The result's not known, but whether or not we take the action. Fear and faith cause us to take action, if that makes sense. Now, let's kind of have a good understanding of this. Let's talk about this in a different way on what kills it. Now, imagine you're standing on a cliff with me. We're at the lake, and we're looking down. We're 50 feet in the air. And this looks like a great jump off spot. One of our favorite things to do is jump in the water, and you're doing triple backflips all the time, the last place we were at, and we want to jump off, but we're looking down there and we can't tell what's underneath. It looks like it's deep, looks like there's nothing down there, but because of fear, we don't take the risk and jump because we don't know what's down there. There could be rocks right underneath the water. It could be 1 foot deep. There could be a sea monster down there. There could be a bunch of sea monsters down there, right? I mean, some of you guys probably saw that. It's like a YouTube video not too long ago. This guy had a GoPro on. He literally jumped off this cliff, and as soon as he went down, the bubbles turned. There was a giant great white shark literally right there. And thankfully for him, he was able to get out of there. But that was fear, right? Or that would have been faith that there's nothing down there, that he jumped off, and then he realized that there was a shark down there, right? Well, guess what? If he knew that shark was down there, the fear would have been so high, he wouldn't have jumped off. Now, this is going to make my point here in a second, right? How do we get past fear? How do we kill it? How do we destroy it? So imagine we're sitting there, we're not jumping, and all these kids start running around us and jumping off. John does a backflip. Susan does a backflip. Tim does a triple flip. Jessica does a gainer, whatever it is. And they're jumping all around below us. What we're seeing now is data. We're seeing information come in. We're gaining knowledge. We're gaining wisdom, right? And what we're seeing is real life experience, and we're gaining information. Now we know that there's nothing of risk down there because the kids are actually saying, we've been jumping here every year, sir. Just jump, stop being a baby, stop being a wussy, right? Now, because of information coming into the picture, fear is moving towards faith. And as we move away from fear towards faith, as more information comes in the picture, the risk kind of fades away. Now we know it's not that risky. Now we have a good time and jump off all day. So what that means is this, guys: to kill fear, what causes it? Ignorance, unknowing, not knowing, right? If you do not know what you're up against through ignorance, you will be fearful, you will live stress, you'll have anxiety. When you know through data, knowledge, facts, and information in historical record, this kills fear. So for example, I had not enough information, and then I gained more information. Think about it in business. If you're scared to post a video on YouTube because it's not going to work out, if you studied the algorithms, If you took a bunch of YouTube courses, you're gaining knowledge and wisdom. Your confidence in yourself is picking up. Therefore, you're more likely to post it. Now, let's say I'm talking to that girl that I want to go talk to that girl that I want to ask out, but I'm not doing it. Then I find out her best friend tells one of my friends, that girl actually has a crush on me, or she actually thinks I'm cute. Now, because of information, knowledge, data, wisdom coming into the situation, my risk-taking nature is able to take forward or go forward because of faith that the outcome is going to be positive. She's going to say yes, because now I know she's more likely to because she actually likes me, right? So the point is this: whenever you're fearful of something, not knowing what the recession is going to do to you, not knowing what the pandemic is going to do to you, not knowing what your government is going to do to you, not knowing what's going to happen on deal that looks like it's going to fall apart. If you have more information, more knowledge, and more wisdom on whatever you're doing, you're going to naturally remove that fear, push past the risk, and move towards faith, meaning taking action to go out there and change your life in some way or another, if that makes sense. So ignorance is the root of all evil. Knowledge is the solution to fear. So if you're struggling in business on any skill set that you have, study it, become an expert on it, go read the books, listen to podcasts, educate yourself on it. Why do people not talk to individuals, for example, like recruiting agents through the brokerage model that we're working at EXP? I see this all the time with agents. They don't know enough about what they're talking about with the presentation that they're doing. They never learned how to explain it. So therefore, they don't go talk to agents to try to bring them to the company, because they're self-sabotaging themselves, because their fear is too high that if they get into a conversation with someone, that they're going to ask them questions that they're not going to have the answer to, that's going to embarrass them, and it's not going to look good, and it's not going to feel good. Now, if they studied, the more you know, the more you grow. If they knew the presentation in and out, believed what they're selling, and they absolutely understood it, the fear is going to go away, because the faith is there that they want the questions being asked to them, because they now understand that they're going to be able to convert that lead or do whatever they need to do in that conversation to have a conversion, because they now know what they're doing, and they now understand it, right? So they're not going to have those conversations. So up until that moment, guys, if you're in sales or in business, you're self-sabotaging yourself because of a lack of information, understanding what you're doing. The reason why your business isn't growing, the reason why you don't have a bigger prospecting list, a bigger client list, is because of fear, is because of not knowing what you're doing. So aggressively educate yourself. I hope this helps, guys. I'm going to have multiple videos coming out over the next few weeks, kind of piggybacking on this one, but this should really help you guys understand what you're fearful of, because it's not real. Figure out how to study and gain information that's going to push you past that state of fear to a state of faith that will make you push past the risk and take action, and the results will start happening in your business. I hope this helps, guys. I hope this really did. If it did, subscribe to the channel, guys. Let's hit 500 subscribers this week. I'm trying to hit 500 this week, and then 1,000 next week. If we can do this, guys, I want to put out some special content on this channel that I told myself I probably wouldn't put out this early, but I'll do it this next month if you guys help me get there right now. So subscribe to the channel, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.